And let's speak to Jayde now. She's joining us from Durban this evening. Jayde, this is the third part of your exclusive reporting on the crimes committed by the suspected syndicate. And as frightening as the detail is with each of these revelations, it feels still like we've barely scratched the surface in terms of the vicious acts they're said to have committed.
That's very true, Thembekile. And I think that the more we hear from the victims, the more we hear from their accounts, what transpired and the stories, we kind of piece together a modus operandi. And this is what police have been saying, that this is how the syndicate operates. And if you listen to each of these women's stories, we've listened to Jessica, we've listened to Mary, now we've listened to Sally, and we've listened to Candace. And similar modus operandi in different areas, just taking in account to Sally's horrific incident. She said she was approached at a hotel lobby. Now, this is very different from what we've seen where other victims have come out speaking about being approached on Instagram, on Tinder. And then we look at Candace, who said she was at the beach with a friend just enjoying herself when she was approached by the two suspects, being Bongani Mthimkhulu as well and Philangenkosi Makhanya, approaching them. But her situation a bit more terrifying. These gentlemen actually asked to come and fetch her from her home. And what I didn't detail in that insert there, that she was one of those that never laid a case. She said to me that she was petrified that they would come back and eventually track her down and hurt her. And this is what they said to her. They said to her that if you go to police, we will find you. So if we look at all these stories that are coming about, and I think it's very important that we listen to the victims, we kind of get a sense of not only what they went through, Thembekile, but the same modus operandi which police have been punting, that this is how they operate. They take your phone, they move money from your accounts, and surely once the police do the investigation, they'll be able to track them down. We have been in talks with police throughout the course of these 2 weeks that we've been covering the story blow by blow. And they have been saying that they are making inroads into this case, Thembekile.
And I know, Jayde, that police aren't saying much, but I'm curious about whether they think at this stage that they are any closer perhaps to cracking the syndicate, making an arrest or multiple arrests potentially. And what is the sense around, again, on the modus operandi, that these men seem to be targeting women in public places? A mall, in Olorato Mongale's case, if it was the same people, you were telling us about a hotel issue and even at a beach.
That's true. So we've been in constant talks with police as the SABC. We've been speaking to the lead investigator, Brigadier Nama, and working very closely with him. Remember, we also have a mandate as the SABC. Whatever information comes to the fore, whatever evidence we have, we need to give over to police. So when we've been speaking to these victims, as much as you've been seeing, we've been hiding their identity, distorting their voices, but the case numbers that they've come forward with, the information, the WhatsApp messages, the pictures, we have been furnishing with police and also allowing for police to speak to them. So we've been almost like the middle person with regards to this, and just allowing and helping police as well. But what we do know right now, that the investigation is still ongoing. We also know that the victims have come forward to also name more people implicated in the syndicate, names that the SABC has that police have now have with them. We've handed over those names, and they are working tirelessly to try and also piece together this puzzle. It's not an easy investigation. It is one that has to be handled very delicately. Right. There are several names that have been brought to the fore, and potentially also, Thembekile, there's a lot of syndicates that have been working in Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal. So actually to pinpoint the correct syndicate that's dealing with different cases is also very important, because police are saying that this is not the only syndicate that is operating. So also carefully putting the dots together, but also making sure that they, cross their T's and dot their I's.
And Jayde, just before we go, in terms of identities, there is the identity of one man, Bongani Mthimkhulu, who has been named by police in an investigation in the Mongale murder case. And he too might be, I say might be because at this point it's alleged, might have been part of a broader syndicate here. Any clues on where he might be?
Okay, so I think you're talking about Bongani Mthimkhulu. He's currently at large now. And then Philangenkosi Makhanya, he is the deceased. He died a week ago in a shootout with police. Several other names have been mentioned in this case. The man with the voice, the story that we broke just a week ago, a victim coming forward to say that I recognize this voice. This is my perpetrator. He stays in my mind. He lives in my mind rent free. Police are aware of this gentleman. They do have his name, and they're still continuing with their investigation.
Jayde Paulse for us in Durban. Thank you very much, Jayde, with that exclusive report on the alleged work of a syndicate that may possibly have been linked, to the murder of Olorato Mongale in Johannesburg in May.